What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports here to give you the edge for this Week 5 NFL slate on Draftkings. Cannot wait to break it down. If you guys are brand new to this channel, we provide both free and paid content for all daily fantasy sports across all sports. If you could please show your support by hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course smashing that like button for all of our future NFL content. If you would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.dgfantasy.com. On dgfantasy.com, we give you cheat sheets for every major sport, along with ownership projections, actual projections, and strategy for every single slate. We also cover optimal cash plays as well as preferred GPP plays and stacks for specific contest sizes. We do the dirty work for you. We are also currently partnered with Fantasy Cruncher, the best optimizer in the industry. When signing up for our $30 package, you also get a $20 credit to use towards any Fantasy Cruncher product. We provide the best value in the industry. Now let's go ahead and dive right into this Week 5 slate here with Kevin. As always, we're going to be doing the first look, and this is without ownerships, guys. So this is a raw and unedited take. Basically, our favorite plays just based on the eye test alone, matchups, and of course, Vegas odds. So let's now focus on the quarterback position, Kevin. I have quite a few. But honestly, I think this could be another paydown week for quarterback. I see a lot of plays throughout, the different price ranges, but there's a couple guys that just stand out to me, at least from my point of view. And this is probably the first weekend that I get to talk confidently about the Jaguars because they have no excuse at this point. We have Trevor Lawrence staring at me at $5,800 against the Tennessee Titans, especially with that banged up offense. This should be more of a shootout type of situation. Tennessee is actually a projected close favorite right now. They're only favored by 4 points to the Jaguars, which is pretty insane. Even though the Jaguars are playing at home, but any team playing the Jaguars, it's obvious to assume at this point that they should be an underdog against them. So Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, $5,800 is probably my overall favorite play here at the quarterback situation. Again, if he can't get it done versus the Titans, we already talked about this, then they really have no excuse going forward with Trevor Lawrence. Daniel Jones is another guy that sticks out to me here at $6K against the Dallas Cowboys. That is another game script that should be a shootout potential game. We have the Dallas Cowboys projected to score 30 points on the Giants, and only the Giants projected to score 23. So should be playing from behind the majority of the game, therefore making Daniel Jones a fantastic target here at 6K. Then some other noteworthy guys. I do like Kirk Cousins. I've been liking Kirk Cousins all season long because with that offense, he's just been very, very efficient. Minus last game, of course, here. Versus Detroit Lions, another fantastic smash spot here against this defense, $6,500. And like I said, my favorite options actually come from this bottom tier salary. If we go up, though, I do think the more obvious options are up here in terms of overall upside. I think Dak Prescott presents fantastic upside for the reasons I already talked about here in this matchup. Versus Giants, 6.9K. They are projected to score 30 points, which I believe is the highest on the slate as of right now. It is. So Dak Prescott in the highest over-under. Gotta love that. And then Kyler Murray, what's not to like about him? I know he's $600 more than the next highest guy, but against the San Francisco 49ers, this is supposed to be relatively competitive. Right now, it is at a 50 over-under. So again, supposed to be competitive. Only a 5-point difference there with Trey Lance officially starting for the San Francisco 49ers. Do you agree, disagree? Who are some of your favorite guys, Kevin?
That was a lot, Matt. A lot to unpack there. But I like just about everything you said. I really agree with the Dak Prescott. I mean, watching him, he had 14 completions last week and had 4 touchdowns. I don't know what to think of that as in terms of floor versus ceiling, but I'll tell you, I mean, Carolina is a good defense. That is something I do believe in. And speaking of Carolina, Matt, I shit on Sam Darnold all year long, anymore. Just saying how bad he is. He was
specifically listening to last week's recap. That's what happened.
Yeah, I know. And here's the thing, Matt. I did say I've slept on him going into this game. I have been sleeping on him, and Cowboys were a very favorable matchup, Matt. But his consistency, especially on the ground and in the passing percentage, is just ridiculous. 68%, 68%, 68%, 67%. Crazy. That's his 4 games. Matt, this is probably the most bonkers stat that probably no one really realizes is actually happening. Sam Darnold has fucking 5 rushing touchdowns. 5 in 4 games.
I think that's a little bit of an outlier performance to start the season here. I don't think that's going to continue, but yeah, I agree with you. He's been phenomenal.
But here's the thing, Matt, with no CMC, I don't think they trust anybody else near the goal line. And he's proven at this point. So I agree it is an outlier. I wouldn't expect it. But I mean, maybe he gets one every other game moving forward, which is still great. You know what I mean? If you get a rushing touchdown in a game as a quarterback, your floor is already so high. And we're seeing that with him, with, the average of his last 2 performances being over 30. You know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy.
Are you saying that you like Sam Darnold this week against
No,
Philly?
I will never say that. But
By the way, I hate him.
I get it. I get it. Let's put it that way. I mean, I think that's pretty fair for a guy. I'm a Pats fan. I will always remember the time he said he was seeing ghosts and threw 78 picks in a row. Okay. It's hard for me to get that out of my head. Obviously, this is a different team. And obviously, he's playing like, the Sam Darnold where he was drafted and expected to be. You know what I mean? So the talent's there. And I always do get a little bit excited for these guys who, were, highly, touted rookies coming in the league, shit the bed a little bit. But, the talent's there. They were, highly coveted and highly touted for a reason. You know what I mean? So I think he's maybe putting it together on this new team. And, I can actually, give my seal of approval on Sam Darnold. Obviously, I love Jalen Hurts. We've been talking to him every week, Matt. Looked really good as a
he has a floor
thrower
now.
Last week.
It's official. He's
a
really good fantasy player right now.
His lowest amount of rushing attempts, Matt, is 7, and the lowest amount of rushing yards he's gotten is 35. That gives you a decent floor right away. And looking at his other, he had an 82 rushing yard game, 62 rushing yard game, touchdown. I'll tell you this, Matt, as a Miles Sanders owner, I don't know what to think about the end zone though. Like when they get to the red zone or, and it's rushing territory.
Especially with Gainwell in the mix now, too.
I was going to say, know who's actually getting more eats than Hurts or Sanders is Gainwell.
Kind of liking that.
So it's like, I don't even know if Hurts, the only thing is like, that hurts a little bit for his rushing upside in that red zone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know what to think about that. Gainwell getting that tutty last week was like, what the hell? So, but as a thrower, which is where I think we want to see Jalen Hurts shine because we know he has legs. It's like the Lamar Jackson effect. We know you got legs. What can you do with your arm? He can do a lot. He threw 32 for 48 last week, which isn't the best stat line of all time, but it's a solid 67% completion. But he threw for almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns with no picks, Matt. He's got an arm. So I like Jalen Hurts as well.
And those are your favorite overall plays. Let me hear your, like, if you had to make a cash lineup right now, who do you think is going to be the highest owned?
That's a great question. I think Dak Prescott. I know we talked about that, Matt. I just love, I'm telling you, week to week, where I make my money in cash games, and even if they're not the highest owned on the slate, is these middle range guys. And I think this is where you make your money in GPPs too. It's the Herberts of the world. It's the Jalen Hurts of the world. It's the Dak Prescott.
For now,
all the people who
prices get up to 9K.
Till the price, exactly. They'll catch up eventually. They're doing the same damn shit. They're not as consistent as Kyler. And I have Kyler in 4 leagues. Like, trust me, I'm a big Kyler guy. But you look at the price discrepancy. Hurts and Prescott can absolutely put up Kyler numbers and probably will 2/3 of the time. There just won't. It's that extra third that pushes Kyler to that 8K in that terms of consistency. And they're over $1,000 cheaper. Doesn't make sense. Yeah,
I agree. I think Dak Prescott's going to end up being the highest owned, and then some of these other pay down options, like I already talked about, will definitely stand out. But yeah, from an ownership perspective, I think Dak Prescott's going to be your safest bet there. I'm at 6.9K. Switching over to the running back position, let's go up and down the board here. This doesn't look good for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have Derrick Henry at 9K. If you thought that he was in a smash spot last weekend, he's now playing an even worse defense away from Tennessee. I would be terrified to see what he does at home. But against the Jacksonville Jaguars away, he's 9K. He's got to be up there with the chalkiest guy on the slate.
He had 35 touches last week, Matt. Like,
yes,
we talked
he
about.
Did. Yep. And you said his floor was 30.
There's no running back. Like we knew he was. I mean, there's no wide receivers. We knew he was going to pound the ball a trillion times. We're like, even if they stuff the box, you get the ball 35 times, shit's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, he only averaged 4.8 a carry, which is good. But for Derrick Henry, we obviously it's not shock in the world. But he still had 157 rushing yards. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
And again, if Julio and AJ Brown are out, again, expect a heavier dose of Derrick Henry. And the Jaguars defense historically stinks against Derrick Henry. This just does not look good. I believe in the Derrick Henry chalk this week. He has a tremendous upside. This is a game where he should. We expect him to get at least 2 touchdowns in. And I don't think I'm going against a grain when I say that, Kevin. Going all the way down, like some of these other pay-up options really aren't that obvious. I think that's why Derrick Henry is going to be so high owned. We have Kamara, not in the best matchup versus the Washington football team, even though they looked horrible on defense last weekend. We have Dalvin Cook. Again, we don't know what his injuries are looking like, but if he is healthy and fully ready to go, 8.4K is in the smash spot versus Detroit. But again, the injury, I think, will keep him a little bit lower owned. We have Aaron Jones versus Cincinnati, which has historically been playing low this season, or at a lower pace this season. Austin Eckler versus Cleveland, again, pretty good defense there. They're not projected to score that many points. Saquon is probably the best option out of everybody I just named here at 7.3K against Dallas.
Why does he look like Saquon again?
It's good because I've been hating on him all season, and I was like, I just don't know what he's gonna look like here with this injury. It's obviously a huge injury. He finally looks good, and all the usage has been going straight to him.
Yeah, man. Can I rephrase?
Yeah.
He actually sucks. And I like Saquon. I really do. I believe in the talent. He's actually been kind of shitty this year. But from a fantasy production, he's been awesome. He's good as a pass catcher. Like, he actually hasn't had over 4.5 yards a carry this year in any game.
That's true.
But
it's just the volume.
It doesn't matter.
It's the volume, and it's the PPR volume. Out of the backfield there, he's getting 7 targets. Yep, and the touchdown. Touchdown saved him last game, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, sorry, no. Zeke, again, you can include in the same breath here. Maybe a game stack there with Zeke and Saquon. That would be interesting.
Back, boy.
I'm sorry, but I'm going right back to the well here with Nick Chubb. He got 4.8 yards per carry last game, got the ball 21 times. It's just that Kareem Hunt was the spark that lit the fire and the flame in the last game. I mean, they only scored 14 points, and he's still getting a tremendous amount of carries, and he's very cheap yet again here, 6.7K against the Chargers. There's nothing else that really needs to be said. I still like Nick Chubb, and against 14.5, he could do better, but still wasn't that bad of a performance here. Still like him here in this matchup. And then going down to name a couple of my favorite paydown options, Deandre Swift at 6.1K is in a total smash spot here versus Minnesota. We have James Robinson, my boy, against Tennessee. Like I said, this is the only week where I can talk about my Jaguars and feel confident. At $6,000, got 2 touchdowns last game. I feel like they're going to continue to use him on the ground, and they should, especially without Carlos Hyde in the mix. He was a healthy scratch last game. It'll be interesting to see why and if he does play in this game. And then also Damian Williams, benefiting from David Montgomery, unfortunately has that sprained / torn ACL, MCL. Don't really know what's going on there. We're still waiting on that official doctor report. But Damian Williams should be good to go for this
Williams
week.
Is still hurt too, Matt. Just letting you know. I don't think he should be okay. But he should be okay.
Exactly. Yeah. At 5.6K. Now they have a really good matchup here versus the Raiders as well. So I do assume he's going to be chalked, but that 5.6K price tag does terrify me. He was utilized a lot last game once David Montgomery went down. He actually did very well. So do like him.
7 yards a carry.
Sure. And he's a nice speedy receiver out of the backfield, so love to see that. Leonard Fournette, also 5.2K. We know what Jonathan Taylor just did to the Miami Dolphins. He's also going against them here. A very low price tag. Also like that matchup. And then going all the way down here to Pirine. If Joe Mixon is held out, he's going to be mega chalk at $4,000 for obvious reasons. That is the minimum price tag for a running back, and as long as he sees over 10 to 15 carries, well, then that makes sense for a 4K price tag. So I think those are all my favorite options, Kevin. Go ahead, let me hear some of your favorites.
I got a bunch of things to talk about. I might black out and forget everything I was going to say.
Yeah,
but I had a couple things I want to talk about. Fournette looked good. Washington versus the Pats looked good. Sucked that Ronald Jones got that touchdown. It was it was.
That's what they do.
Happens. We know. Yeah, we know exactly. That's what they do. Exactly, Matt. Still like Fournette. He looked really good. Good pass catcher, and they look like if he's getting 20 touches a game, then I don't care. So. Yeah, it's the Pats too. Yeah, good defense. Trey Sermon, Matt, really took over. Love Trey Sermon at 5K. Had a sneaky good game. Just didn't catch any balls, didn't have any touchdowns, so he had 9 points. Looks terrible from a top view perspective, but had 19 attempts, almost 5 yards a carry. 90 yards on the ground. That's what I'm saying. Trey Sermon, sneaky. If he's going to be the bell cow, then I definitely think there's potential there. Myles Gaskin it was a bad match. Did terrible. Everything was terrible, about that team. But that said, he got outpaced by Malcolm Brown pretty good. So Malcolm Brown, I don't know where Malcolm Brown is. What's his price tag? I mean, there might be some sort of changing of the guard there. Let's see here. Not gonna get excited over $4,000 for someone who might be, moving forward as the bell cow there. I don't know. I'm not going to overreact. Just something to consider. Let me get back to this RB position because I had some more I'm going to talk about. Okay, so one thing I'm going to talk about, Matt, and I'm ready to. We talked about cut and bait. Big cut bait on Nick Chubb. I'm over it. And I've kind of felt this way, to be honest. The only thing that kept me floating was you and TJ. And this is I have a statement too to just show my opinion of Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb's the best runner in football. I've always said that. I think he's better than Derrick Henry. I think he's the best running back in football. His ceiling, I don't care. Hunt is a problem. He's a cancer. He is such...
I have that cancer in my season long, and I love it, though. Absolutely love it. And
it's it just limits his upside. I don't see Nick Chubb, and he'll have a 3 touchdown game, maybe, or a couple 2s, but I don't see Nick Chubb ever hitting the ceiling of, look at all these guys, Matt. I don't think he can ever touch a CMC, especially Kamara, from a PPR Henry, Cook, or Aaron Jones. Yes, from a PPR perspective, exactly. And that's what we're talking about. Henry, CMC, Kamara, Cook, Jones, all the top 5 pay-up options, all have way higher ceilings than Chubb, and I don't even think any of them are better runners. but it's just the way it is. And I actually did a stat metric the other day, Matt, looking at the yards per carry over their careers and comparing. Nick Chubb has a higher yard per carry average over his career. I was doing this with my friends the other day because I had to break out some stats and, shit on some people and explain how, I have a friend who just won't let go of the fact Joe Mixon's bad at football, and I had to, break out some stats and show him that Joe Mixon is indeed bad at football. But yeah, Nick Chubb is not bad at football, averaging over 5.2 a carry over his career. Disgusting.
I think he has like the most yards after contact too. Like,
yes,
I honestly,
correct.
Okay,
yep.
there you go.
Was at least last year. I remember. Yes,
I was going to say over Derrick Henry, and that is impressive.
Dude, he's a truck, man. You watch him run. Like, he's had so many big runs last year. I think it was against the Pats, maybe, where he had a huge run, then fumbled it at the end of the run. But it was such an impressive run. He's so good. But yeah, that's just I'm gonna keep him out for that reason, Matt. I can't get behind that. Someone that we talked about last time is Naji Harris. I don't think you touched on him too much, right, Matt?
Not. Yeah, just because of the
Naji
matchup
Harris.
there. That's all.
I know it's a tough matchup. I almost like tough matchups for him. He's coming out as this pass catcher.
Agree more.
I mean, even the outlier of the 19 target, 14 reception game, which is obviously insane, he still had 6 receptions last game, and the game before the 14 catch game, 5. We're seeing the emergence of something right here, Matt. And I was big on rookie running backs never living up to the hype. And I'm going to bite my tongue on this one just because of his pass catching ability. And I know Denver's a terrible matchup, but that might create some GPP upside here, Matt.
I can't wait to throw this stat at you because you're going to be mind blown. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Which team throws the most passes in all of NFL so far this season?
I was going to say the Raiders.
I'm probably giving it away now that I'm saying this.
Oh, they have. It's Denver?
No, it's Pittsburgh.
It's Pitt? Okay, well, that's not surprising.
You don't think it's surprising? I think it's surprising because Big Ben's throwing the football, but that's just me.
I don't think it's surprising because they always throw it. Like, I know Naji Harris hasn't been running, and I know Deontay Johnson has a couple decent games. Claypool, you know what I mean? Like, I know that's. I'm going to be honest, man. That's always like I know it's probably not Denver, but Denver would have surprised me. That doesn't surprise me that much. So, I don't know why.
The reason I bring that up, Kevin, is because even though they're throwing the most here, it seems like they're almost running the ball every single time because they're passing the ball to Naji Harris so much in the short game.
Exactly.
And just think about that from a fantasy perspective. That is just a gold mine, an absolute gold mine of points waiting to happen. Naji Harris catches one ball for 0 yards. That's still a point. That's more than a 10-yard rush. I mean, that, to me, just to put that in perspective, is insane. And Pittsburgh's going to be doing it all season long.
And that creates a floor, Matt. We're looking at a guy who had 2 touchdowns over the past 3 games, which is good, obviously. But even, take those away, he still had great games. You take his touchdown away in one game, he had 14 points, I think.
Right.
You take his touchdown away. His 32-point game, he didn't have any touchdowns. Just remember that. That's maybe the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, that he got 32 points with no touchdown. And then last game, he had 22 points essentially with a touchdown. So
yeah, so I think the point of that story is that we're going to expect a lot of Naji Harris going forward, assuming he doesn't get injured. Knock on wood. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Wide receiver?
Wide receiver, yes. We are moving on here.
By the way, I told you, Jonathan Taylor. Told you he was going to pop.
Yeah.
I text my friends before I had him in 3 leagues. I text my friends. I go 30-point day from Taylor. Wasn't quite 30, but still popped.
Yeah, he was utilized so much in the red zone. Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Hopkins, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin. Let's just get it out of the way. All DJ fantastic.
$7,500 fucking dollars.
Yeah, and it makes sense though.
And he deserves it. Right. I'm so mad about it, but he deserves it.
I was gonna say you can throw all 5 of those wide receivers into the top. The same exact tier because they are all amazing. We have Devontae Adams, obviously can't argue with the talent. Justin Jefferson against the best matchup. DeAndre Hopkins can say the same thing. However, that injury is probably hindering him still. I think he has a bounce back game here. DJ Moore for obvious reasons we just talked about. Terry McLaurin, a different man at this point in his career. Fantastic. Then everybody else. So let's talk about some of these pay down options. We have Adam Thielen at $6,600 in that same exact matchup. I like the matchup here versus Detroit. I will continue to talk about it all week long. I think these guys will continue to be under-owned just because of what happened last week where they they only scored 7 points, which was definitely not like the Vikings. But against Detroit, they're projected to score 28 points. Love Adam Thielen there. Keenan Allen is only $6,500, so they didn't have a chance to adjust his price tag here. Kevin, he still got 11 targets last night. That is insane.
Yeah, I was looking at Mike Williams at 7,200, and I was like, dude,
yeah, that too. Yep. Keenan Allen at $6,500, I feel like just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I definitely like him. I think he's going to be relatively chalky. CeeDee Lamb against the Giants, his price tag went all the way down. He did not have a good game last game or the game before that, so the price decrease there makes me like him. CeeDee Lamb, and I already found the value on the slate, and you might consider this bias, but DJ Chark is out. And Marvin Jones against the Tennessee Titans is $5,700. He's a wide receiver one in that offense, has continued to get volume. I absolutely love Marvin Jones in this contest. And Chenault at 48.
I was going to say, I like Chenault more, 4,800.
Yeah, and he's going to continue to see more of a target share too, just because of the quick slant routes, and he's kind of filling the role there for DJ Chark. And then also Tavon Austin stepped on the field 77% of snaps last game. So if that's a thing, then yeah, you can throw him in for a GBP conversation. But yeah, love the Jacksonville Jaguar wide receivers for value. Kevin, who do you like?
It's a young buck year, Matt. It's you try to hit these guys early, especially if you're in season long. You try to catch them, and you figure out which ones are going to be the guys. And it's coming to fruition right now, Matt. We're seeing DJ Moore, 8 receptions, 6 receptions, unbelievable. He's popping. We're seeing Terry McLaurin with Heineke. Like, the only thing that scared me about Scary Terry was fucking Heineke. Okay.
Yep.
I'm not scared of anything anymore with Terry McLaurin. Yeah. The talent's there. He's going to make it happen. My goodness, he's a savage. And my personal pick, Matt, for a league winner and someone, if you can still get early, who's looked absolutely lights out, Deebo Samuel has looked insane. He looks awesome. I think he's going to be one of those guys that he's the next guy up. Like, we're going to be talking about him with bold call, but I think we're going to be talking about him next year, like in terms of like drafting and like area, like around like Justin Jefferson and shit. Like, I think like he's that level. I think
depending
really
on their quarterback situation, I'd say, but yeah.
Might not matter. I mean, it's not a good situation now.
No, it wasn't.
But same with McLaurin, not a great situation. I mean, Heineke's obviously been okay. He's had his moments. But still, a lot of great options, Matt. I mean, this 7K range for how these players have been playing, specifically Deebo, McLaurin, DJ Moore, awesome. Then you got your old heads like D-Hop, who's just always lights out. But to be honest, I mean, Matt, if we're looking like it's 4 weeks in, we have to start taking this seriously. You know what I mean? And look at D-Hop's numbers compared to the people I just talked about. Look at D-Hop, who's $100 cheaper, to a Justin Jefferson. I'm going Justin Jefferson. Like, as much as you might think D-Hop consistency, Justin Jefferson, boom. No, I'm going Justin Jefferson, Matt. Like, I really am. Like, as much as I hate to say it. It's just we're looking at Chase Edmonds, taking a lot of its reception. I have Chase Edmonds in one of my leagues, and I'm looking, and like, he got 17 points last week, and James Conner siphoned 2 touchdowns. That's how much they use Chase Edmonds as a pass catcher. You know what I mean? AJ Green's been looking good, which is hurting D-Hop. Christian Kirk has his moments. Rondell Moore has his moments. Yeah, they have so many weapons, and D-Hop I believe in the talent, but I'm kind of off of him this year, Matt, just seeing how things are going for his pricing. If he drops to 6,600, it's a different conversation. But yeah, I'm loving these 7K guys. I think absolutely, I feel very confident that one of these guys is going to be in the optimal between McLaurin, Deebo, a Jefferson. One of these guys is going to be in the optimal. There's so much talent there. These guys are popping at a consistent basis now, and I absolutely love them. You brought up, Matt, is now my favorite cash light. I think it's the most obvious one. Keenan Allen at 6,500. It's just a no-brainer. Just lock them and then build your lineup around Keenan Allen at 6,500.
I don't know why he hasn't gotten up to that 7K range. Okay, I don't know why he hasn't gotten up to that 7K range yet. I don't get the Keenan Allen price tags. Not with the targets he's been getting. It makes no sense to me. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So yeah, go Keenan Allen. Mike Williams hopefully gets in a car accident.
Okay.
And yeah.
Not a bad one, hopefully.
Pretty bad.
Okay.
If you guys can't tell, I might have had him in fantasy last week.
And lost by less than the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. Sharing the love there. Let's switch over to the tight end position. Let's go over this. There's no Kelsey. Kelsey dropped his floor. Finally, we will take accountability for saying he's a good play, because that was the first week in how many weeks? What was it? 18 weeks or something stupid like that, where he didn't drop over 16 points it was. So yeah, guys.
By the way, Matt, sorry, quick question. I don't know if you know this. Tough question. I just was still hung up on wide receiver. Sorry. Kenny Golladay, I know we talked about him like being the only receiver on the team. We like that potential. We were a little nervous about being shadowed by Lattimore. Do you know if Lattimore was all over him? I didn't watch that game. I'm not quite sure.
I did not watch it either.
Okay, because he popped. And if he dropped 116 yards on 6 catches on Lattimore, then bravo, Kenny G. Not that he can't do it. I think he's very talented, but
yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's a good question. I'll have to go back and rewatch the tape here as we look at the final look finally. But yeah, a tight end position of Kelsey. Hey, guess what? Tyreek Hill happened. That's what happened. He got 3 touchdowns in that game. Okay, if Kelsey catches one of those touchdowns, we aren't having this conversation. So Tyreek Hill, it happens every so often. But yeah, he's not in the slate anyway. Darren Waller 7.3K is getting the consistent targets. We have George Kittle at 5.6, but I do think the next guy in line here is going to be Mega Chalk. And again, he's been coming off some pretty bad performances, but we know that he's not the reason for it. TJ Hawkinson at 5.5K, extreme discount here. For playing in a game where they should be playing from behind. He should see plenty of targets here versus the Minnesota Vikings. He's probably going to be my favorite overall play here. at the tight end position, and I think he's going to carry a lot of the chalk. At the tight end position, it really only comes down to a player pool of like 5 to 10 players for me personally, and I think that TJ Hawkins is going to be the most obvious person. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't like his price. I don't like that he's 5,500 after 2 back-to-back shitty performances. But I do agree. He got 8 targets last week. I wish he wasn't 5,500. It's one of those things like I'll do it, and I agree with you. And it's just like I just wish he wasn't.
I just think it's a
you know what I mean?
matchup,
Like I'll do it. It's not going to change my decision making. I just don't love that. I agree, Matt. And then one person I was looking at too. So I was watching obviously the Pats game, and what's his head? A name we haven't seen in a long time. Let me find him here.
The Bucks
the
guy.
Juice Man. The Juice Man got a target in the red zone, right? I think it was in the red zone. OJ Howard picking up the slack for Gronk a bit.
Oh, he did get that only target in the red zone.
Yeah, I think it was in the red zone. $2,900. I was just kind of talking out loud here. I'm not saying I like OJ Howard. I was just looking off of the Gronk pivot. Someone I also like, Matt, is I like Dallas Goedert. I believe in the talent. He, Hurts likes him. He's probably the best red zone target on that team.
He would have had 2 touchdowns. He got 1 called back, by the way.
Yep. I remember that. Yep. And I have Goddard this year. I believe in the talent. Ertz is irrelevant, and he's the best red zone target. So I do. And then the other person, Matt, I'm just going to bring up. There's someone I talked about that people. Yeah, I mean, you and TJ. I'm not going to say you laughed me out the door, but I picked him up in both my leagues.
Gesicki, yeah.
Gesicki.
No, I was definitely not.
You guys laughing at the door,
I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the fact that TJ drafted Gesicki last. So that was a fail. So.
I mean, I'll tell you this. As someone who just, like I said, picked him up in 2 leagues, I'm tickled pink. And at 4,200 against the Bucks. That's a really good matchup. Like we're talking back-to-back 17+ point performances at very value. I don't think it's a safe pick, but I think it's an interesting pick.
I agree with you. The only thing I disagree with, based on everything you just said Zach Ertz was irrelevant. So don't ever say that again. Don't ever say.
Let's look at the numbers. Am I wrong?
No, he got 8 targets last.
I'm wrong.
yeah. He's actually been killing it. Both of those guys have been absolutely killing it.
Just wrong. That's it. I'll eat that one.
All right. Last but not least, we have the defense. I think there's one defense that stands out the most to me, and it's because of the lack of offense that New Orleans has been showing. Washington football team, $2,300. That's your discount. We always look for that pay down. I think they're going to be the highest owned by far. I don't even think they're close. I think they're gonna be like 20% on. Just looking at the price tag compared to the Vegas odds right now, New Orleans is projected to score 23 points. Yes.
Saints don't scare you? Okay.
No, Jameis Winston doesn't, but
damn.
I'm sorry. Kamara scares me. Kamara terrifies me. Every time he touches the ball, I just want to run the other way.
Yeah, he's the most deadly person when that ball's in his hands, maybe in the league.
But do you agree with that take, or do you have any other defenses that you're looking at? I know we breezed through the defenses.
I got one more I'm looking at. It's so scary after the worst performance of like all time.
What's that?
But the Texans versus my boys, my Pats.
How can you say that out loud? And
I love the Pats. I actually really like what I've seen from the Pats this year. A bunch of really good games. But at the end of the day, I think they can win games against good teams. I don't think Pats are going to be lighting anyone up. So it's almost like I think the Texans get a hard 3 points against them with that $2,300. Okay, sure. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just punting. That's just punting at the position.
Right. And you're always punting.
They only had -1 last week, and they let up 40 points. So
that's actually pretty crazy.
They had a pick, they had a sack. I
actually had New Orleans, and they did really bad.
I had New Orleans.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, you're cutting out.
Yeah, I had New Orleans in both my leagues. I was like, New Orleans is a lock, and boy, oh boy, did they shit the bed.
Yeah, they did a big game.
They were in a smash spot too. Who are they playing? I can't remember.
Giants. Turnover City. It was supposed to be, and then Saquon happened. Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
He's
freaking.
Hey, he's making me bite my tongue. I know you've been biting your tongue a lot on some of these quarterbacks. I need to bite my tongue on Daniel Jones, at least for now. If they don't like the playoffs,
remember, I didn't give up on him. That's my boy.
Well, yeah,
I drafted him in my dynasty league, so I need him to be good.
Oh, so okay, that's a lot of writing on him. But yeah, Daniel Jones, until he proves something, I still think he's trash. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and end this video.
Fair.
This is our first look, guys, without ownership. As you guys can hear, we're just rambling on about some of our favorite plays. We'll kind of compare this to the ownerships here in a little bit in our final look video. But if you guys did enjoy this content, please do hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course, smash that like button for all of our future NFL content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day. Let's cash.